Well, welcome everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. We have a great panel this morning. And joining the senator this morning, we have Sabrina de Santiago, the Director of Policy and Program at Golden State Opportunity, and Jasmine Munoz, the Public Policy Associate for United Ways of California. To kick it off, I'll hand it over to you, Senator, to get us started.
Great. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. It is now hard to believe, but more than mid-March, and for many Americans, tax season is upon us. It is that time of year. But this year, there are some important changes for most Californians, important for people to know, and that's why we've gathered here today. So we're here to get the word out on this year's biggest budget changes and to share the federal, state, and local resources available for California taxpayers. To do that, I'm grateful to be joined by Sabrina de Santiago, Director of Policy and Program at Golden State Opportunity, as well as Jasmine Munoz, Public Policy Associate for United Ways of California. Now, to begin with, as we've all felt this winter, California has experienced a relentless stream of severe storms, with rainstorms, flooding, and mudslides causing over $100 billion in damage and tragically taking the lives of Californians. Now, to help alleviate some of the hardship of those impacted, the IRS has extended the federal tax filing deadline to October 16th, 2023 for individuals, families, and businesses in 51 out of the 58 counties in California. So if you live in one of the 7 counties not included in the disaster declaration, your tax filing deadline is still April 18th. And those counties are Imperial, Kern, Lassen, Modoc, Plumas, Shasta, and Sierra counties. Again, if you live in one of those 7 counties, your deadline remains the same, and this year it's October 18th. For the remaining 51 disaster designated counties, you automatically qualify for an extended deadline of October 16th. So you have more time to get your taxes in. If you live in one of those 51 disaster designated counties, not only do you automatically qualify, you don't have to fill out a form in order to benefit from the extension. And what we're talking about here in terms of the filings that are extended, we're talking about the federal, individual, and business tax returns that you may pay, 2022 contributions to IRAs and health savings accounts, quarterly estimated tax payments, quarterly payroll and excise tax returns, and disaster-related loss claims. To learn more about how the disaster is impacting your taxes, you can go to the Tax Relief in Disaster Situations page on the irs.gov website, irs.gov, and look out for the Tax Relief in Disaster Situations page. Now, additionally this year, there's a number of new credits and deductions made possible by the Inflation Reduction Act that Democrats in Congress passed and that President Biden signed into law. Individuals may be eligible for a number of these new tax credits and deductions, including tax credits for new and used clean or electric vehicles, an energy efficient home improvement credit, and a residential clean energy credit. Also want to point out that I was proud to help secure the extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies for those who use the ACA to obtain their health insurance. We know it's helped millions of Californians afford and retain their health insurance. To see if you qualify for any of these federal tax credits, go back to the irs.gov website and look for credits and deductions page. Click on the credits and deductions page for more information. And finally, even if you qualify for the extended October deadline, you don't have to wait until then. The IRS encourages you to file early and online if you're able to do so. and I'm sure the state does as well, to see what resources are available to help you file your taxes. Go to the IRS website, again, irs.gov, and click on File Your Taxes for Free. You'll get more information there and from our other speakers here this morning. But before we move on, I'd like to take a few minutes to offer some words in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking press and Spanish-speaking Californians. Muy buenos días y gracias por acompañarnos esta mañana. Este año hay cambios importantes para la mayoría de los californianos en cómo presentar sus impuestos. Este año, California ha sido impactado por tormentas severas y es por eso que el IRS ha extendido la fecha límite de presentación de impuestos federales hasta el 16 de octubre de este año para individuos, familias y negocios en 51 de 58 de los condados en California. Pero si usted vive en uno de los 7 condados no incluidos en la declaración de desastre, su fecha límite de presentación de impuestos sigue siendo el 28 de abril, en un poco más de un mes de hoy. Esos condados incluyen los condados de Imperial, Kern, Lassen, Modoc, Plumas, Shasta y Sierra. Pero si usted vive dentro de uno de los otros 51 condados que fueron afectados por la tormenta invernal, califica automáticamente para una fecha límite extendida y sus declaraciones de impuestos ahora pueden presentarse hasta el 16 de octubre de este año. Y no necesita completar ningún formulario adicional para beneficiarse de esta extensión. También queríamos llamar la atención a nuevos créditos que pueden beneficiarle. Gracias a la ley de reducción de la inflación que los demócratas en el Congreso aprobaron, usted puede ser elegible para uno de los nuevos créditos fiscales y deducciones que incluyen créditos fiscales para vehículos limpios o eléctricos, nuevos o usados. Un crédito para mejoramientos de su hogar para que sea energéticamente más eficiente y un crédito residencial de energía limpia. Por fin, aunque tenga hasta octubre para presentar sus impuestos, no tienen que esperar. Visiten la página web irs.gov para aprender más sobre los créditos y otros recursos. And with that, just want to thank you all again for joining us today. I'm looking forward to hearing some of your questions. Edgar, back to you.
Thank you, Senator. Up next, we'll have remarks and presentation by Sabrina de Santiago from GSO. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Just to get us started, I want to share that I appreciate everybody's time in getting here. I know that it is a big day for everybody to get their taxes. And if you'll give me a sec, we'll get our presentation going here. Oh, excuse me. Something is wrong. Give me one moment. And here we go. So my name is Sabrina de Santiago, and I am here with Golden State Opportunity. We are an organization that's dedicated to ending poverty for all Californians. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about who qualifies for these credits, the California credits and the federal credits, how to estimate your credits, how to claim them, and how to find help filing your taxes. So what is a tax credit and how does it work? We talk a lot about tax credits, but sometimes we don't slow down to explain them. A tax credit is something that can reduce the amount of taxes you owe, and some tax credits are refundable. So when you owe zero in taxes, these tax credits become your refund. For example, if you owed $350 on your taxes, but you qualified for the Young Child Tax Credit this year, that's $1,083. This is a California credit. You could still get back $733. And it's important to note, tax credits have found that, research has found that tax credits help people stay healthier, get more education. Now, there is both California credits and federal credits. I'll start with the California, and then we'll talk a little bit about the federal. Excuse me, I got that backwards, federal first. So the federal EITC is a refundable credit. To qualify, you need to have a Social Security number for the taxpayer and the child and any qualifying children. You need to have lived in the United States for more than half a year, been a resident, have earned income within the yearly limits. And now, what is that income limit? So if you, for example, are a single person who's filing as a head of household, for the federal tax credit, it's $16,480. If you're a family with 3 children and the parents are filing married jointly, then that's $5,987. What's the maximum you could get back from this credit? Well, these are some big numbers, especially for families that have 3 or more qualifying children. You could qualify for up to $6,935. Now, it all depends on how much you paid and your qualifying dependents, but a single adult can get up to $560. Now, there's also a California credit, and the California credit's a little bit different because it is a hard cap. So you have to have earned less than $30,000. You have to have lived in California for half the year, and you need to be over 18. An important note here is that you don't have to have a Social Security number. You can file for this credit with your ITIN. And just a little table here to help people understand the different amounts we're talking about. Let's say you are a parent with 1 child, and you could get up to $1,843 from the Cali ITC. You could get another $1,083 from the Young Child Tax Credit. If you happen to be a young parent with a child who was a former foster youth and you're under 25, there's another $1,083 credit. And then you could qualify for up to $3,733 from the federal tax credit, federal EITC. So this is a lot of money, and this is why we make such a big deal about getting people to file their taxes, even if you don't have a filing requirement. You can still file taxes and get money back. This is the Young Child Tax Credit. I mentioned it a little bit before, but if you qualify in California for the Cali ITC and you have a child under the age of 6, then you're eligible for an extra tax credit of $183,000. Now, it's only 1 per household. So if you have 2 children under 6, you still only get the 1 tax credit. And the really good news, though, is that the 2021 child tax credit is still available. Let's say you didn't file your taxes last year, or you didn't get some of your monthly payments. There was something there where you didn't claim all of the money. You can still do that. You can still have access to these dollars. It's really important because they won't be around forever. So we encourage people to really go ahead and get these taxes now. And again, I just want to emphasize that even if you don't have a Social Security number, you can still qualify for some of the California credits. I mentioned this new tax credit for former foster youth. This is the first time it's available, and it's really there to help former foster youth who may not have some of that broader support networks get started on the right foot in their young adult lives. And then, as the senator mentioned, there's a new electric vehicle credit, and it's $7,500 for new and used electric vehicles that are less than $55,000 for cars and $80,000 for trucks and SUVs. The big thing to know is how do you get these credits is that you've got to file your taxes. There's no other way to do it, but we can help. We have a website. It's caleitcforme.org. And on that website, we can help you estimate your returns, find a place to get free tax preparation help, or even file your own taxes online if you're comfortable with that. Our website is available in many languages, and you can see here a sample of our Spanish language. And so see, you can enter your own data and get a little estimate of how much you could get back. And to follow us or get newest information, please check us out at caleitcforme.org and Golden State Opportunity. Now, I want to stop and take a moment to share a little bit more for our Spanish viewers. Apologies, our Spanish translator had an emergency. So I'd like to share that para aquellos que nos escuchan que solo hablan español, los créditos de California sí son accesibles para aquellos que no tengan un número de seguro social. Pueden reclamar el Cal EITC, que es un crédito para trabajadores, y ese depende del tamaño de su familia y cuánto ha pagado en impuestos, pero también hay un crédito para padres de niños jóvenes menores de 6 años, que es hasta otro $1,000 arriba de lo que pueda calificar en otros lugares. Además, si tiene un número de seguro social, puede calificar para los créditos federales, el EITC y el Child Tax Credit. Para el Child Tax Credit, este es el último año donde puede reclamar los montos aumentados del año pasado. Entonces es importantísimo que si no los ha reclamado, por favor, haga sus impuestos para que se pueda llevar ese dinero a su casa, porque ya sabemos que cada dólar cuenta. Si necesita más información, le podemos ayudar en español y podemos también conectarlo con alguien en su comunidad que le pueda ayudar en persona. Nuestro sitio de internet es CALIETC, el número 4, me.org. En inglés, caliitcforme.org. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Sabrina. Appreciate it. Up next, our next speaker, we'll have Jasmine Munoz from United Ways of California. Go ahead, Jasmine.
Alrighty, thank you so much to Golden State Opportunity and Senator Padilla for having us on today. Let me just get my slides in order. So I will be walking us through some ways that you can maximize your refund using another resource that's available online, myfreetaxes.org. So a little bit about who we are. United Ways across the state offers safe, reliable, and no-cost tax preparation services in nearly every county in California to help you avoid costly tax prepare fees and instead get the most for your money. So I'll be walking us through a few free filing options that we have available, again, on myfreetaxes.org. And this will be the first thing that you see when you visit the website. We're also really excited to announce that the website is now available completely in Spanish. All you have to do is search for myfreetaxes.org/ES for Espanol. And all these resources available on the website are going to be also available in Spanish. But to get through a few of those free filing options, the first is going to be in person with a VITA or a volunteer income tax assistance site. And this option is going to be available to individuals and families making $60,000 a year or less. And you can get your taxes done in person for free with a VITA volunteer who has been certified, and you will know that your taxes are going to be done safely and completely securely. However, if you still need a little bit of that help, but you for some reason can't find a VITA appointment near you, or maybe there is no VITA site in your area, you can still get that volunteer assistance virtually in the comfort of your home. And this option is going to be available to anyone making $66,000 a year or less. And again, that is going to be on a virtual software, get your refund. So you can still do it at home, but still get all of the same assistance should you need it. And then the third and final option that we have available on the website, you can file your taxes completely on your own. And the really nice thing about this option is that anyone, regardless of your income, can file online. So whether you have, your W-2s, 1099, 1098 forms, you can still file for free completely on your own, regardless of your income, on myfreetaxes.org. So if you're kind of hearing these options and you feel like you need a little bit more information to make that decision, you can always text taxes to 211-211, and you'll get a message from United Way with more information about each options, a link to those websites, depending on what you're comfortable with. So again, if you want more information or you want to see what tax credits you might qualify for, including the tax credits that Sabrina mentioned earlier, you can text taxes to 211-211 for more information. Next, I want to go through the ITIN process a little bit. So if you're someone who is looking to submit an ITIN application, some important things to note. Your application must be submitted with your tax return, as it cannot be sent on its own. And so for that reason, your ITIN application, the process does not qualify for electronic filing. So that means you must file a paper return. The nice thing is you can do this process a few different ways. Again, you can go in person to a VITA site. You can go through an IRS Taxpayer Assistance Center. You can do this process completely through the mail, or you can also use the help of a certified acceptance agent. We do want to remind folks, however, that a rule of thumb when you're filing your taxes is sooner is always better. As the ITIN process does take a little bit of time, it can take anywhere from 10 to 20 weeks. So if you're interested in getting your application in, and you need help from in person at a VITA site, we do recommend you do that as soon as you can. Some additional things to note: unless you go through a certified acceptance agent or an IRS Taxpayer Assistance Center, you will be required to mail your original legal documents through the mail. And unfortunately, not every certified acceptance agent offers their services for free. So just another reason why we do highly recommend folks look for that acceptance agent at your local VITA site, so that you can make sure that you can get all of these resources. You can maximize your refund at absolutely no cost to you. Some additional resources that we have available on the website. Again, on myfreetaxes.org, we have a checklist of all of those legal documents you might want to bring if you're going in person to a VITA site, or if you're filing your taxes on your own. We have a checklist of all the information you might need. We also have how-to guides that will walk you through every step of the process while you're filing your taxes. And we do also have a way to find those free assistance and VITA sites near you, so you can kind of see what your options are. Finally, the senator touched on the late filing deadline a little bit earlier, but once again, just to reiterate, April 18th is the official tax deadline for the IRS and the Franchise Tax Board. However, certain counties that have been identified by their IRS and Franchise Tax Board that have been affected by natural disasters, they are eligible to file their taxes at an extended date all the way up until October 16th. But of course, we once again want to recommend that you do file sooner than later. And a few reasons for that is because unfortunately, many of those VITA sites will close after the April deadline. So if you file by April, you'll get a larger pool of help to choose from. And it's really important if you're looking to submit an ITIN application or you need the services in different languages, we really do recommend you still file by April if you can. And of course, the nice thing is if you file earlier, that means you also get your refund earlier. But again, if for some reason you need that extra time, you do still have to until October if you're in one of those counties that were affected by a natural disaster. So although your in-person options might be a little bit more limited after the April deadline, you do again still have those additional ways to file completely for free through the October deadline, whether that's virtual with Get Your Refund, or if you file completely on your own, which again is available to anyone regardless of your income. So if you're ready to get started, you can always visit, again, that's myfreetaxes.org for guides, tutorials, how-to guides, and we're here to help you through each step of the process. So thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Jasmine. We'll kick it back to you, Senator, just to run through a couple questions that we've received.
Sure, we have just a few minutes left in this webinar, so we'll get through a couple of questions as quickly as we can, but also want to announce that a recording of this session will be made available afterwards. The first question, free, we're told is always too good to be true. Is it? Both Sabrina and Jasmine, quickly, is it really free to get help filing your taxes?
Yes, Senator. The programs are a VITA program, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, and it is a program where individuals are certified by the IRS to file taxes for free. And so it's volunteers who are helping the community for those who have lower incomes so that they can get their tax refunds without having to pay to get their taxes filed.
Jasmine, free, right? No catches?
Absolutely, there's no catch. It's absolutely free. And the really nice thing is that through that training, every VITA volunteer has to maintain privacy and confidentiality of all taxpayer information. So, you don't have to take our word for it. You can go out in your community to your local VITA site, hear those success stories, but all of these resources available at absolutely no cost. And you will know that your taxes will be filed safely and securely.
Okay, great. And Jasmine, just one follow-up question for you. A lot of people think, oh, tax credits, deductions, you have to make a lot of money to really qualify for those sorts of things. Is that true? I mean, some of these are intended to help lower income and working class families.
Yes, so the really nice thing about the state of California is we have at least 2 state credits that are directly targeted to low income people. So if you make 30,000 or less, you might be eligible for the California Earned Income Tax Credit. And you can get a refund, again, as Sabrina outlined earlier, up to $3,000 or more if you qualify for the Cali ATC. Or if you make 30,000 or less and you have young children under the age of 6, you can also qualify for the Young Child Tax Credit, which is a $1,000 credit per household. So those are really targeted investments, and there are also some federal tax credits you might be eligible for, including the federal EITC. So we encourage folks to look at these resources to see which credits you might be eligible for.
Great. And with that, we are just about out of time. I want to thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Sabrina, for joining us today. I hope everybody who's tuned in learned something helpful and useful. Help us spread the word. It is tax season time, but as we mentioned, for people in 51 of the 58 counties, we have a little bit more time to file our taxes this year. The 7 counties not included in the disaster declaration. April 18th is your deadline. The extended for those who qualify is in October, and I hope you've benefited from the amount of resources and additional information that we've shared. We'll share website links, we'll share all that good information. And again, because of the weather that we've had, we have some extra assistance and extra time for those who qualify. We thank you for joining us today. Please stay safe.